Hey, FlimsyLunchTray here, and welcome to World of Warships on a randoms battle in Mountain Range with the new Tier 10 Pan-American battleship, the Libertad, something like that. And I had a difficult time figuring out which direction I want to take this video. For many reasons, which you're going to see more towards the last, let's say, 4 to 5 minutes of this battle and how things go. There was a thought of one player saying this is the dumbest match ever on the enemy team. When we get to the very end of the battle, there's going to be another person who's going to be accusing me of trying to get a Jingles video again, which apparently has some PTSD from, I guess, a previous encounter we've had. Yeah, or just doing a play-by-play analysis, which honestly, I think that's probably the best route to go. So I might be laughing when we get towards later on in this battle, because the enemy clan division is actually, they're really good, and I think we have some fun and laughter and chat with them as well. So there's just a lot of good vibes. So, I've already done videos on the Libertad. I'm not going to get too much into the details of the ship, except saying it's got 12 419mm guns. Into that, she's a secondary brawler, 51 coated in 51mm armor. Except the bow and stern. So you have to be very mindful in this ship when it comes to things like SAP, sim armor piercing from like a Venezia, Colombo, the German heavy cruisers with their quarter high explosive penetration, and the high explosive from like heavy Japanese cruisers. Other than that, I mean, of course, you always have to be mindful of the torps. Like, this ship's pretty busted. It's probably even more stronger than Schlieffen, depending on how you want to look at it. But it's a very fun ship to play, and I've been quite enjoying it. So we're here on Mountain Range, so I'm divisioned up with 2 of my clanmates, and we've already been communicating in chat to our team, just to be like, be mindful, there's a lot of radar. I think there's like a Petro, a Stalingrad, and maybe there's another Petro even. And so what's essentially going to happen in this battle is now you see the Cyclones inbound. Immediately my thought goes to, I want to play with the Cyclone. Because once the Cyclone gets activated, then you're going to start seeing the concealment begins to drop increasingly till you get 8 kilometers. And that's actually when the brawling battleships really in this game shine with Cyclones, because you can pick your engagements one-to-one, if you will. And maybe you get some 1v2 action as well. But if you can get the 1v1 action, it's great. So the enemy Libertad has popped a salvo at us. So we're going to use our amazing rudder shift. We have the steering gears in slot 4. Which is going to allow us to do stuff like that. As we get negative 20% less on rudder shift time. So actually full rudder shift time, maneuverability, is 10.86 seconds. So it's really, really good. So we want to try to get a shot on this Sherman, but he's going to accelerate, and I think that salvo misses. So as you saw in chat, the thinking here is for myself and hello everybody in the Petro, is that we want to push up the 910 line. But what ends up happening here at this cap is, because we're also going up against the enemy division, the enemy clan, they actually have a really strong defense that they end up setting up here. But we're going to get close to killing their Stalingrad, so you'll see how that goes. So for now, we don't really want to be too aggressive, so that's why you don't see me full blasting, full throttling out from behind the island, because I know there's an enemy destroyer around. There's a smoke screen there in the cap, so we want to be mindful of that fact. So I'm going to go ahead and just instead turn out, because of the threat of possibly more torpedoes. It's like, well, there should be more racks than just that one there alone. So we're going to take another shot at the Petro. When Petro's locked into position like that, they're very hard to dislodge. I mean, especially among the Russian cruisers, heavy cruisers like that, Petro, Stalingrad, they're very difficult to deal when they're about in. So if we get any opportunities for broadside shots, of course, we always definitely want to take those as much as possible. So for now, we're just kind of filling it out. Our team has secured A, but not at the expense of losing one of our cruisers, which that sucks because you see we're already 2 ships down. So we just want to see if the enemy team will make a mistake here. They kind of get a little bored and decide to push in. as we don't want to push in just yet because there's a lot of hit points to chew through on this flank. So instead, we're just going to keep sitting here, and I'm going to keep playing with my throttle. That's something that's really good to do, that you're not just sitting still like in a brawling battleship. I mean, any ship in the game. You should be continually moving a little bit. And it also helps that we have the propulsion that's already built into the ship. So it makes it more easier to avoid torpedoes, especially if we're kind of kited out in this way. As you see, we're detected. It's that destroyer that's in the cap somewhere who's spotting us. Hello everybody pops his radar. And we're kind of waiting. There he is. So we're holding our salvo because we were communicating in chat that we wanted to try to work on the Shimakaze if at all possible. Which we are going to get a reset there, so we are keeping them from the cap while Doom is trying to flip Bravo here. But I think the enemy Sherman is on the north end of that cap, so it's going to be a very touch and go there. So there's the angry red triangles. We were predicting that were going to come. So I'm going to go ahead and re-accelerate forward. And wondering if that stuff was going to do a lot of damage, but not too bad. But it does give us the potential damage we were wanting. The Stalingrad is going out broadside, but he's beginning to angle and turn in. So this is actually kind of one of the situations I was hoping for, waiting for. Although I didn't want to have to sail further away. Because what I was hoping is that one of their players would end up deciding to just push in and can sit there and maul him with our amazing secondaries. With these 10x2 234mm and our 8x1 127mm. Because the 2 and 34mm, they pin 59mm alone. So kind of waiting here patiently because I feel that the Stalingrad is smart enough to know that he can't continue to push in, that he's going to have to turn and take cover to an island to his right or my left as I'm looking at him, as I just hit the mic. So we're going to continue to sit there and waiting. Again, I wish I was a little bit closer because then I could easily use the funny button that we get here on the ship in giving us the modified secondary munitions. So he's beginning to turn out now. We're dark, so kind of wondering, oh, has he forgotten about us? We want to wait a little more. And now we're going to go ahead and pop the salvo off. So I'm hoping we can get some big damage to him here because now he's really committing to the broadside. And yeah, so maybe if we were a little bit closer, but the angle at which our shells came in didn't punch through this into the Citadel quite like we were hoping. But now you see the cyclones beginning to kick in as we lose visual distance. So the goal here is to play off of the cyclone. So I'm reversing back in, trying to get closer into the action again. So when I do go ahead and push in, it'll be easy to do so. I've been conscious of the Preußen with his 457 in the back, and as well as the Petro and Stalingrad. I don't really want to give them broadside if I can help it because they can't easily smack me. But it'd be great as now we're trying to focus out the Stalingrad. Meanwhile, our other flank is collapsed. We have some battleships that are kiting away, which is probably like that's in cruiser battleship. That's the right play to make in that situation, but now we're losing the map control or the cap control that we have had. And just as about to turn and go full broadside to come back in, there's more torpedoes, so we're going to be killing the speed and turning back out again. So this is kind of one of the frustrating things here that happens to us as I'm like, wait, I don't need to turn back in yet. That propulsion can get you in trouble sometimes with the Libertad. Is that we keep getting zoned out by that enemy Shimakaze, kind of flooding the area with torpedoes. So it's prevented me from maybe getting into the position or being as close as I've wanted to. So that's been a bit of a pain. As that's one of the great things about destroyers in the game, something like the Shimakaze, is that because of the torpedo threat that you pose, you can work on zoning out enemy players. And the Shimakaze has definitely been doing that here. So the spotting range has been decreased. Ideally, I would have wanted to be up further up by the Rhode Island to kind of just instantly move in. But we tried, but again, there were torpedoes. Meanwhile, I think we've picked up, Bravo again, or we've at least kept the Sherman out. And now our team on the 3 line is going to start pushing back in as I'm going to take some blind shots there. It's never a bad thing if you don't have anything else to do to take some blind shots off of what you see on the mini-map, because usually the mini-map to line up the aiming of your main battery. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to preemptively heal here. This is something that's actually really important because when you're going to get in a intense brawling situation, let's say you're not going to even get the full health, full heal out of it. It doesn't mean don't go ahead and use it, because what I'm going to be committing to is a very intense brawling engagement, which means, as the Nevsky gets in the way, which means that the likelihood of me actually getting all next 3 of my heals off is very unlikely. Of course, it is really nice that we do have the 60-second cooldown time on Repair Party, which actually really helps us out here. But we want to go into the battle as healthy as possible. So that's the goal here. As unfortunately, we're going ahead and we're going to lose Doom now. So things are going to be falling apart very quickly for us here. Although our friendly Libertad does take out the other enemy Stalingrads. He has 2 Stalingrads this battle. So now we're going to push up the 10 line. And what I'm hoping to do here is move up undetected so I can catch, if the Petropavlovsk is still back there on the 9 line, we can deal with him. But also that there's an enemy push forming up to come from the Bravo cap into the C cap. So I want to be able to kind of be bow in that situation, if you will. But right now, what the Cyclone helps with so much is just the concealment to push in to make this aggressive play. Otherwise, that would be very much punished for. So, you know, at the higher tiers now in World of Warships, when, you know, you try to use smoke, you try to use islands, right? But Cyclones are very helpful for you to be able to draw the distance, because you see a lot of people who try to push in at the start of a battle and they get melted down really quickly because there's still so many enemy ships. So we're trying to play off of the elements of what's happening here in the map, here in the battle. So we've lost the Rhode Island, so, you know, now we're down 5 ships to there are 2. And we're going to hope to get some salvos off here on the enemy Petro. I've been trying to call out to Hello to be mindful of his broadside on the left because of the enemy push coming in. And now the enemy Des Moines takes out our Libertad. So we caught the Petro off guard. We've incapacitated one of his main battery guns temporarily for the time being. So I'm going to go ahead and go a bit more bow in here. One of the things that's very incredibly great about the Libertad is the secondary firing angles are actually like incredibly strong and really good. So that helps us out here, something that I don't think is as good as on the Schlieffen as an example. So I don't mind. So we're going to get another salvo off here. And I don't want to go really behind the island because I want to deal with the enemy players that are going to begin pushing into the C cap. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shift my secondary, or my starboard side, my right side, secondaries off over to the Petro, and I'm going to actually ignore him with my main battery because I know that there's some enemy ships soon here, and I want to see if I can be cheeky and catch one off guard. And just as I'm hoping here, as I lose a main battery gun temporarily, the Stalingrad's pushing into C, and he's broadside to us. He's like 8.5 away. We need him in visual range of 8. And if I'm going to kill the Stalingrad, I really need to do it while he's broadside, as our GK goes down. So there he is. We get the close quarters kill on the Petro. Stalingrad's broadside. Burp. Double strike with our second kill. And now we have the enemy Libertad. So you can see it's almost been like 1v1 here. It was the Petro, then it was the Stalingrad. Now it's the enemy Libertad. And so we did get a heal off. I'm wondering, do I want to go ahead and use my next damage control party? We're going to go ahead and do that. And the enemy Libertad, I think he's going out broadside here because of the torque threat. So that means we're going to get a nice broadside here and be able to punish him really well. Here comes the main battery gun that was incapacitated. Get a Citadel there. Very close to death. And I make a mistake here. I switch... no, I didn't. Okay. Now we switch the secondaries off to the Sherman. And we have a Sherman and a Yamato. So things are getting dicey again. We are getting another heal off. That 60 seconds is really helping us out here. We get another close quarters. So third close quarters, picking up the general offensive. And now all this enemy Yamato has to do is just bow into us. And that will make life a living hell for us. Trying real hard not to get into another Jingles video. So let's see what the enemy Yamato decides to do. Survey says broadside. I can hardly believe my luck. But we're not going to be tempted to show our rear turrets and get clapped. We're going to let the Motto make that salvo, which hardcore takes a lot of our damage out, or a lot of our hit points away, and we're just going to be smothering his broadside. Yeah, so now we're already up to 247,000 damage, and the Kraken unleashed with the high caliber. So things unfolded very quickly for the enemy team, even though we were very close to actually being 0-pointed there if I hadn't made the kills when I did. So now I'm fishing out to see where the other enemy ships are. I've got an issue because I got an enemy destroyer that somehow got behind our destroyer down to the south. And then we're going to have another issue here in a moment, because right now I'm like, okay, the enemy Des Moines has got me a little on radar. There's a Schlieffen. So we're basically completely surrounded at this point. And keep in mind, I talked about the Colombo sap earlier, noting how we've been lucky in the sense that we didn't immediately run into the Colombo sap earlier because it just completely wrecked our 51mm plating. But what I want to do here is try to see if I can be cheeky enough to get maybe some of the broadside of the Des Moines, but he's very good. He's angled in at the appropriate time. I'm ignoring the Schlieffen, but here comes the Colombo sap. And wrecked. But we did start some fires, so that's going to take our damage up a little bit more. So there's just so much that happened in such a quick amount of time. Ultimately, our other flank falling apart doesn't help us out here because it's harder to make those type of plays. When you lose the map control, it puts more pressure on us on the right flank to make the play sooner, which was really hard because the enemy team was just better overall. This game, so it can't be upset and mad about that when the enemy team plays really good, right? So no need to get upset and salty over that. So we're going to compliment the enemy team, the division, clan division that we went up against. So also going to do what he can. So that was a bit of a play-by-play analysis. I feel like so much happened there so short, so quickly, but I hope the play-by-play analysis kind of helps explain, when you're in a brawling battleship, maybe what to think, what to do, because you really need the concealment to push up and make big plays like that, because once you get in close like that, the Libertad can push out a lot of damage, like a lot in a very short amount of time. I mean, we went from 70k to 265k in roughly 4 minutes. Yeah, like it's that strong. So going into post-battle results, it's 265,000 damage with general offensive, double strike, 3 close quarters, Kraken Unleashed, and the high caliber with our 10 citadels, 178 secondary battery hits. So you're not firing off a lot of secondaries, something like compared to the Schlieffen, right? But your secondaries, because you get 234mm, the alpha damage that those carry is like really strong. It's 3,850 if you get a full pin out of them. Topping our team with 1,500 base XP with our other friendly Libertad just behind us. And there you can see the layout of the enemy team. It was kind of funny, the Poison was like, this was the dumbest match ever. I don't think he got to do much that game, unfortunately. So we did take 147,000 damage. Our potential was 2.1 million potential damage. You can see the damage laid out there across the top of the screen. Our secondary did 71,000, but our main battery did 173,000. So I think I actually took the, what's it called? The auxiliary armaments mod 2 in the 6th slot. I don't take the main battery reload mod in the 6th slot because that will nerf your main battery traverse speed, but of course you're going to get the reload time down from what is that? 33 seconds to 29.4. At least I'm pretty sure I took the auxiliary armaments mod 2 just because the alpha that those 234s can put out. And I do kind of want a slightly faster turret traverse for this ship. So I really like it. It's been really fun to play. I already have done a Friday highlight and upgrade commander build video on this ship, so I'll put it at the end if you're curious and you want to learn a little bit more about this ship. But it's an incredibly strong ship that maybe at some point wargaming nerfs, maybe a year from now or something, I don't know. But the rudder shift makes this ship, you know, fantastic to be able to turn in and just easily disbounce enemy battleship salvos. Because you have like among the best, maybe it's the second or third in the game. I think there's another one that's slightly better. If remember it's Thunder or what exactly, but it's incredibly good ship. So that being said, I hope you liked today's play-by-play analysis. If you did, give a thumbs up. If you didn't, give a thumbs down. Subscribe if you do want to see more. If you're subscribed, thanks so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you to my Patreon supporters. Until next time, take care.